Hello. So today, for my story, we will be going back to when I was in year 11, in August of 2018, I think. So for the story, this takes place in Thredbo. So every year 11 class got to go on a snow camp to Thredbo, somewhere in New South Wales, can't remember. Yeah, and so at the snow camp, we got a choice of either doing snowboarding or skiing. I chose snowboarding because I'm a cool kid. Yeah, so I chose snowboarding, and basically because I'd never skateboarded or anything before, so snowboarding was a bit difficult for me, but I got pretty good at it. But I was falling down a lot, and basically whenever I fell down, I kind of chose a spot on my body that was the least painful to fall down on, and for that, that was my the left side of my hip. So yeah, I ended up falling down quite a few times on my left hip, and just remember that for when we get further into the story. So on the last day, we go up to the top of the highest mountain they have at Thredbo. It's like the final challenge you do on your last day, and you have to go up on this thing called a T-bar, which so you kind of just hang on, and it's on like a rope that pulls you up, and you also need very good balance to do that. So I had to have my then teacher have to hold on to me while I was going up this T-bar because it required incredible balance, and that's something I don't have. So I managed to get up the T-bar with my teacher basically bear hugging me so I could stay on. Get up to the top of this mountain, and there's this little bell that you ring, and you're like, yes, I got up the top of this mountain. So that was really cool. And basically my snowboard was off at this point, and we were getting ready to go back down the mountain. Basically, to put your snowboard back on, you have to sit down and kind of strap your feet in. So I was sitting down, strapping my feet in, I was all ready to go, and I tried to get up, and basically for the life of me, physically could not stand up. And this was because I'd fallen down so many times on the left side of my hip or my leg that my leg basically just stopped working. And I ended up having this massive bruise about this big on the side of my leg. So I couldn't get up. My mate was with me. He was like, oh, you'll be right. And he just slid down the mountain without me. So I ended up just sitting there on my own for about 10, 15, 20 minutes. I ended up just asking a couple of random people. Was like, hey, can you help me out? So they ended up calling up one of the staff members to come and check on me, and they called up a couple of paramedics, and these paramedics were also snowboarders. You kind of had to be when you're working at a snow resort or wherever it was. So I ended up, these two paramedics on the snowboards came to me. They had brought a stretcher up with me, so they tied me to this stretcher. I'm lying down, and also my teacher, who heard about it, came up to check on me as well. And while I'm in this stretcher, he was taking photos of me. There's actually a really funny photo of me and all my snow gear lying down on this stretcher. So I'm in the stretcher. Two paramedics attach themselves on either side of the stretcher on their snowboards, and basically they snowboarded me down the side of this mountain all the way down to the floor. So I'm just lying down in the stretcher going Mach 3 down this mountain, lying down. It was very fun, but also kind of painful because I was in a lot of pain. So yeah, ended up going down the side of this mountain, ended up getting back down to the main resort part, went into the ER that they have there, and they basically just told me that I had corked my thigh, which basically is just when you jar your finger, but instead your entire thigh. So, and I had this massive black and yellow and purple bruise on the side of my leg. So I had a nice little souvenir with me. So yeah, that's my story. Thank you for listening.